Eden. This is my dad, Noah. And every week, we sit on my bed and have a conversation about something we want to talk about. So this week, we're going to talk about a vacation we just went on. So, ending summer, starting school, and that'll be next week.
Starting school will be
next week.
Okay.
And, yeah. It was a...
Yeah.
So, if you want to see some previous episodes subscribe to YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, rate and review on Apple, and there's so many old episodes. I'm pretty sure on YouTube there's a bunch of them to listen to, but they're all on there, and a lot of the newer ones are on video there.
Right, so the past maybe 60 episodes, I think, are on video on YouTube. And then all the episodes are on YouTube that you can click play and just watch, not us, but just the cover art of the podcast. And so it's like, if you just have that on, if that's how you want to do it. But it's important to subscribe because then more people will see. People always say to me, like, well, yeah, we like the podcast, but, how do we get more people to do it? Yeah, sure. Sharing with friends, of course. But if you subscribe, that helps. And then same on Apple, same on Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. And they have, I think, I'm fairly certain this is episode 207.
Wow.
Started this when you were in kindergarten during the pandemic in 2020. Now here you are, officially a fifth grader.
And
we'll talk about that next week.
Yeah, but I think, just thinking about fifth grade and like how we always do a beginning of that school year's episode, I think it's crazy. I think we did our first beginning of school episode in first grade.
Sure.
And we were still in the pandemic then. Like, I wasn't even in school, I don't think.
Right.
And I think it's crazy that now we're here, like...
It is crazy.
It's so long ago, but it's still so crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right, so the end of the summer trip we went on to celebrate Grandma and Grandpa's 75th birthdays, 50th anniversary, went with your uncle and your cousin, and since they live in Europe, and we went to a part of the world that none of us had ever been to.
Yeah.
So we started in Holland and took a cruise. Denmark and Norway and Sweden and ended back in Holland. So start with, I know that your favorite place was our first stop in Copenhagen.
Yes.
Denmark. Why?
The city is so cool. It's so clean. It's modern, but has so much history. And there were a lot of cool sites we visited. We went to Tivoli Gardens, which is such a colorful, fun place.
What is it?
Oh, it's an amusement park and garden.
There you go. Amusement park, right.
And garden.
Yeah.
And we saw the King's Palace. Well, King and Queen's.
Mm-hmm.
But it was beautiful.
So Tivoli Gardens is home to the oldest roller coaster in Europe, third oldest
wooden roller coaster.
Yeah, roller coaster in the world. There's classic amusement rides. We did bumper cars.
Yeah.
Do classic amusement games. But it's almost like a throwback in time because nothing really there is commercialized. There aren't mascots. There are no. I didn't see anything that was selling shirts that said Tivoli Gardens. It was, they had a few little shops, but they had sit-down restaurants. It was very civilized, and that's actually what I thought about most of our trip was how civilized these destinations were.
Yeah.
But you had just read about Tivoli Gardens in Number the Stars.
Yeah, they mentioned that it has a past memory.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so you can understand how one, important it was to have those memories, have those things in mind as they're experiencing the Holocaust and World War II, and now you get to have those memories also there.
Yeah.
Yeah, which was neat.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It was especially to be very pretty.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I think, especially there in a big city, not like a big city like New York, but it's like it's their capital, Copenhagen, and it's cool they just have that in the center.
It's right in the middle of the city.
It's just like, it's kind of just like there. Like, it's like there's just like a shop, and that's Tivoli Gardens, and then there's another shop.
It's as if
it's just
like Madison Square Garden
Yeah.
right there in New York City, but an outdoor amusement park right there.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Like, so you're just walking on the street. Oh, there. Oh, Tivoli Garden. It's beautiful.
Oh,
Great.
yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like it's you just like people like who just live there just like walk right by it.
Yeah, let's try not to say like this year.
Like no.
Thank you. Yeah, let's work on that. So after that, after Copenhagen, did we have a day at sea?
No, we had a day. So we got on, then we had a day at sea, and then we were.
Oh, okay, all right. So let's talk about the destinations first, then we'll talk about just being on a cruise ship.
Then
so
we went to Oslo, Norway.
yeah, what did you think? That was, I think, my favorite spot.
Okay, cool. It was very different.
Mm-hmm.
There's a lot of Viking history.
Mm-hmm.
A lot also from the 1600s. I feel like the 1600s were mentioned in a lot of places.
Yeah, I mean, just European
Yeah.
history just dates back so much further than what we're accustomed to with U.S. history.
Yeah, well, we have British history.
No, sure, yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so technically we do. But
Mm-hmm.
yeah.
I understand what you're saying.
So
Oslo is extremely hilly.
it's very hilly, but beautiful sights. We went to a sculpture. We were on a tour. We went to a sculpture garden.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what the other place was called. Well, we went to 2 museums. Yeah, it was museums, right?
Mm-hmm.
We went to 2 museums.
Yeah, a Viking museum. We saw
a Viking ship that they had just recovered, and that they are trying to build a replica.
Mm-hmm. We saw some old. We saw like a church and some other things that you'd see on a farm
Yeah.
from all the way back in the in the 1600s. And
Did we go somewhere else? Oh, we went for the ski jump.
right, and we saw the ski jump that they've used in the Olympics in Oslo, and I mean, you got to be crazy. you got to be crazy. You got to be crazy to do it, and it's in this stadium, and it was fun. We just sat on the top step of this stadium overlooking. We just sat there and had some lunch. Something I thought was interesting was in Oslo they had outside a bunch of houses. I saw these flags that were horizontal flags, almost like pennants. Yeah, almost like pennants or banners, not the flag. And it had the Norwegian colors, but not with the cross. That wasn't like the flag. So I asked the tour guide, "What is this?" And she said, "Well, you only put the flag, the Norwegian flag, out when there is a celebration." Okay. So, but other people wanted to use these other banners. They were used way back for
showing you were home.
Showing you were home. Yeah, which I thought was so interesting. And obviously, they don't do that now with security. If you don't have one out there, but it's just I think it's just a pride thing. But also you don't fly the flag. You don't fly your flag. You fly these banners, which I thought was interesting.
But I think that's cool that if you see someone with Norwegian flag, it's like, oh, it must be
some sort of celebration. Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah,
it was pretty cool. And also that more people are, like in European cities, like in Copenhagen and then Amsterdam, people are riding bikes. And in Oslo, there weren't as many bikes downtown because it's so hilly. Yeah. But what they do is they have only only electric cars. Electric cars were free to park. Like it was free parking downtown for electric cars, I believe.
Yeah.
And they were getting electric bikes.
Right.
Many more electric bikes there also.
Or like scooters maybe.
Yeah,
just
a more of a bike culture, which we saw in Amsterdam, where they have 800,000 people and 1.6 million bikes.
I think Amsterdam was their bikes more.
Mm-hmm.
Than like anything else.
I didn't see what I also didn't see in any of these places, and we'll get to Gothenburg, Sweden in a moment.
Helmets.
No one wore any helmets.
Oh, well, yeah.
But I barely heard a horn honk at all.
Like there was, sirens.
Yeah, we saw a lot of people, and and sometimes we didn't see a whole lot of cars, but just didn't hear. Living in New York City, you're just constantly hearing noise, and whether it's someone yelling or horns are always honking.
Also,
and that really stuck with me.
Also, people are very it's not that they're private.
How about not saying
they're not private in a bad way. Just in a good, they just mind to themselves.
Yes. That's a European thing.
I'm talking to you right now, but not. Let's say we're in a restaurant right now. I'm talking to you.
Mhm.
There's 2 tables next to us. That table does not have to understand our whole conversation. Or maybe they'll hear some of it, but I don't have to be screaming to you.
Well, no, right, and yes, I agree with that. And also,
And-
no one's going to jump into your conversation and say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I heard you say this." Like, no one's going to do that. People are, you're right.
They're very focused on
they're sick to
themselves.
themselves. Yes, you're right.
And that's very nice.
Yeah, it kind of is nice.
Like, people mind their own business.
That's true. That's totally true. Yeah.
Like, it's
What about, okay, so
nice.
is it Gothenburg? Gothenburg, Sweden, that had the largest building in Sweden, that zipper building that we saw on the river cruise. And so I looked it up.
Mm-hmm.
And it said it was like 252 meters. So I thought, okay, well, where would that fit? This is the largest building in the country. Where would that fit in the United States? In New York City, and it would be the 46th tallest building in New York City. But again, that was also something I kind of liked. Like in New York, you have to build up because there's not the other space and everything else there. Like, sticks to the architecture and sticks to the vibe. I liked it all there.
There's a lot of really nice low buildings, just wider.
Yeah. So what did you like about Sweden? Oh, sorry, go ahead.
I think the vibe, especially in those countries, is wider, not taller. Well, I think especially in Sweden.
Yeah, or when they were so old, when they were so old, they were skinny, but they went back and up.
Or back.
Yeah, like more like skinny townhomes.
New York is all up.
Everything's up.
Nothing is wide.
And then we ended in Amsterdam, which I thought was just spectacular with all the canals, and I loved it. I could have spent the whole day on those canals.
Also, pause. There were it was okay. It was nice on the canals. There were little flower baskets, and it just looked nice. Like, it was very pretty. Yeah.
Yeah, and I like the vibe there of everyone was. And I know we're tourists in those spots. Everyone's like happy and taking pictures for each other, and everyone knows what certain people are there for. We had a great tomato mozzarella sandwich, along with like an eggplant zucchini sandwich, some great sandwiches that we sat along there. What I did not know is that all those bikes, so many of the bikes end up in the canals.
That's exactly what I was going to say.
Oh, really? I did not know that they pull out.
They do a cleanup of bikes in the canals.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
I wonder how they end up in there. I wonder how many people. Okay, this is what I wonder. I wonder how many bikes are like parked up right on the side and fall it with the wind or something. And I wonder how many people throw their bikes in. Like, I wonder what that is.
Or people throw other bikes in. But also, how about all the houseboats?
Houseboats. So many.
Yeah. It's just such a different way of life.
Yes.
And we ended with that. Our final morning, we went to the Anne Frank house, which, and kind of goes back to Number of the Stars when we went to Tivoli, thinking about that at Tivoli Gardens, that I do think that, especially in the time where we're living now, that, everybody should visit. And from what I understand is they're going to bring the house, or at least replicate the house, I think in New York. So replicate the house and the store, everything, and bring that to New York so more people can experience it and see it. And it was extremely emotional for me walking through there with you, holding your hand and thinking about protecting you. And I've thought about that ever since day one became a parent, but it is the most significant part of our history of being Jewish, and it cannot be forgotten. And as difficult as it is to hear certain things, experience those things, we have an obligation to make sure that it doesn't happen again, and that we understand how it happened, why it happened, who didn't help, who did help, and what other people went through,
and what other people should have done.
Sure, and what our people went through. It's as difficult as it is. There's absolutely no escape.
Exactly.
Any other thoughts about Anne Frank House from you?
I think it's just a very brave story. I think no matter who you are, I think you should see it, and it has nothing to do with just who you are even. It's just like, it's a very emotional, brave story that I think it's something in history that happened really to everyone. Not,
Right. This
like,
is,
even
I
if
don't
it
necessarily
didn't,
think it's a Jewish
No,
story. It is a human story. Yeah.
I mean, it happened, so technically, well, it happened, so it happened to the world.
Mm-hmm.
So
Sure.
I think everyone really should see it if they can. And yeah,
I agree. Or at the very least, listen and
Listen.
hear those stories.
Yeah.
Are I as many times as I've heard the stories, I still can't ever not just shake my head and like, I don't how did this happen?
Yeah.
It's unfathomable. Okay. On a cruise ship for the first time.
Yeah.
On a cruise ship for the first time, well before I was ever on a cruise ship for the first time. What did you think? And
It
what were your
was-
expectations coming in?
I wasn't sure.
Can you move up a little bit?
Yes,
Thanks.
I can.
Great.
I wasn't really sure what to expect, and
You've seen so many on the Today Show when we watch in the morning. There are all those commercials for cruises all the time.
I didn't expect it like that.
Yeah, I didn't know. So I didn't know if that's what your thought was, like seeing those commercials and then thinking, "Oh, that's what it is." But it is it's a floating resort.
It's a floating resort,
Mm-hmm.
and that's really cool.
It is.
It was so cool. Just everything's just there. The rooms on one floor, the pool, buffet 2 floors up,
Food everywhere.
food everywhere,
Ping pong.
ping pong,
Mm-hmm. And you get such a
pickleball.
pickleball. Yeah, play pickleball for the first time. It's so much. Me.
Yeah.
So much fun with your cousin.
Yes.
And also, and a cousin who lives in Europe, so this is the most time you've ever spent together.
Yeah, I haven't
And-
seen her.
Right, and she's 12 and
Actually,
you're 9,
3
right?
years.
It's your first cousin. So anyway, but just, I found such relief sitting outside and just watching the North Sea at night and some of the sunsets and some of the calm that I was able to experience out there. It was
Yeah.
pretty spectacular.
And for my first time, I didn't feel the boat so much.
Mhm.
Like,
Sometimes at night. I
at
did.
night, I would feel my bed shaking a little bit.
Mhm.
Like, sometimes you would go
Mhm.
a tiny bit,
A little bit.
but, like, you would never, like, you would feel you're moving, but, like, you technically weren't moving.
But I understand.
But, yeah.
How about the other activities? So, I came away with a victory.
Yes, you did. Congrats. He won the ping pong tournament.
Thank you. I'd like to thank my coach. I'd like to thank my daughter for her support, my parents.
Who was your coach?
and then when we did musical trivia one night,
Musical trivia.
TV and
Woo!
Broadway musical
Well,
trivia,
It was Broadway.
Broadway musical
Broadway.
trivia, and we won.
We won. Tiebreaker.
Much in part thanks to my brother and your uncle.
Yeah.
Yes.
But
But
we
yeah,
still won.
but we won, and that was very cool.
In a tiebreaker.
Mm-hmm. That was very cool.
That was really
And
cool.
so they have all these events, and everything is right there. Mm-hmm. Best thing you ate? Oh, sorry.
Best thing I ate was dough.
A lot of Nova, a lot of lox. Yeah.
Yeah,
Mhm.
but I made me crepes. So good.
Yeah, food crepes. Yep.
Yeah, they're kind of like tied. But wait, what was I saying?
I'm not sure.
Oh, it was cool that all that's on a ship.
Yeah. Like that.
Like you're on a boat in the middle of the North Sea, and I'm playing pickleball at 9:45 p.m.
Mm-hmm.
In the middle of the North Sea, on the
Middle of
top
the
of the boat outside.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Yeah. Or you're doing that elliptical machine outside overlooking the North Sea again.
Yeah.
It was awesome, and it was special to be able to celebrate Grandma and Grandpa.
Yeah.
Turning 75 is a big accomplishment. Being married for 50 years, and as they reminded me a lot during that week, that nope, we're not there yet. So yeah. So they still have. But as we're recording this, they still have about 3 weeks. Yeah. So. Yeah. Yeah. But look, it was even different for me. Well, one, you're an only child. Your cousin's an only child. So sharing a room, you shared a room with her for a week.
Yeah.
So that's a lot of fun. I shared a room with my brother, which we'd never done. That was not as much fun as you guys had. but I enjoyed it. And yeah, and being able to spend that time together was fun. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah, you create memories. That's what we hope to be able to do more with you is experiences. Oh, the light went out. I guess it wasn't charged all the way. How about that? The experiences over things, over material things. Sure,
yeah.
you need things, but these experiences really stick
yeah.
with me. Stick with you and stick with your family.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. All right. Well, looking forward to talking about starting 5th grade.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And I love you.
I love you.